Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Ben from Build a Body Online Rugby, and today we are going to cover your program for getting and staying lean to level up your rugby performance. If you are struggling to nail down your programming, if you don't know what to do for your training, then this video is going to be for you. Please stay tuned, make notes and take action on it. Also, please give it a like if you find it valuable. Please subscribe to our channel. We want to continue giving amazing content and resources to you as rugby players so you can level up your rugby by getting leaner, stronger and faster. Let's get straight into the training. When you are trying to get lean as a rugby player, there are three main things that you need to nail, three main categories. And that is your rugby training program, having proper rugby nutrition and leading a lean rugby playing lifestyle. Today, we are going to focus on the training program aspect, but you need to nail all three to ensure you have good, sustainable, lean getting results as a rugby player. And here we are going to start with strength training or resistance training. And this sets an absolute foundation for you as a rugby player to produce force in the game, number one, but also to get lean. Strength training is how we build our muscle mass and produce force so that we can dominate on the pitch with that lean athletic body composition as well. When we think of strength training, we are thinking of heavy training for maximal strength increases. And this is our ability to produce as much force as possible. So important for your performance, but it's also amazing for body composition results. Heavy strength training, where we are looking at 1 to 6 reps at very, very heavy intensities, is really good for building your force capabilities, using and burning a lot of energy during and after you finish your session as well, and also just amazing in general for your rugby performance, mobility, robustness, power as well. Moderate to heavy for muscle mass too. So this is really important. Remember, when we talk about being lean or getting lean, we aren't thinking of getting really skinny, losing loads of weight. We are thinking of our body composition, enhancing our lean muscle mass whilst trying to reduce our unwanted fat mass. Okay, so making sure we are enhancing our muscle mass and increasing the amount is really important. We do that through moderate to heavy intensities and increasing our muscle mass. And finally, explosive power training. Power is one of the most important features for your rugby performance, and it could be the biggest determinant of how well you play on the pitch. So we need to make sure we are working on that so that you can be the best of your ability. All of these put together create an absolute foundation to your training program. If you are not training heavy for max strength, if you aren't doing moderate to heavy for muscle mass with your hypertrophy or assistance training, and if you are not explosively for your power by using ballistic training, plyometric training, speed training methods and all of the above, then you need to find out where you can add these into your program. Next up, we have our conditioning, and this is absolutely vital for building that engine that can play for the full 80 minutes or beyond. And when we think about conditioning, we are building our energy systems, the ability that we can use our energy systems to perform work. In particular, for conditioning, you want to focus mainly on your aerobic energy system. This is what enables you to recover from those high intensity efforts that you're going to do in a rugby match or in training, get back up and go again for the repeated 80 minutes. When we think of conditioning, we've got lots of different modes we can use. Continuous training. This is one that is mainly overlooked in rugby because of the nature of the sport. Because it is very high intensity, we tend to look backwards at the continuous, but it does provide a really good clean aerobic stimulus, and for your body composition it enables you to work for long periods of time, burning lots of calories, which is very important for shredding down that fat mass. Typically in our conditioning, if we're doing continuous training, we want to focus on the off season mainly, or we want to them throughout our season when we are playing games as little top-ups to enhance our body composition. Maybe it's a 10 or 15 minute finisher to a gym session. Maybe it's 10 or 15 minutes after you've finished off your training session with your team. We've then got high intensity intervals. This is really important. This replicates the game. This gets up into the red zone, okay? We're talking things like 20 seconds hard, 20 seconds off, or doing maximal sprint training with a slow, steady jog recovery. High intensity intervals are super important. They should be a foundation of your conditioning training. Typically, these will be introduced as well during your rugby trainings. If not, get them in there yourself. Rugby games playing things like touch, doing these in your warm-ups, small-sided games. These might all be things that are added in to your rugby program. If you aren't doing it already with your team, add some in with some of your teammates on the side. There is no more specific way to do conditioning for your rugby than actually playing rugby and in the form of games. And finally, circuits. This can add to your metabolic conditioning, can really help you with your muscular endurance as well. You can do this in the gym or you can do it on the pitch as bodyweight. Conditioning as well as strength has to be in your program. It has to be done regularly. Focus on the aerobic component. And our final component of the training program is speed. And this can be often overlooked, especially at the slightly lower levels of rugby, but it is so crucial you keep training for your speed. When we think of speed training in rugby, we want to get our accelerations over short distances, anywhere between 5 and 40 meters. Training top speed over our moderate distances, anywhere between 40 and 100 meters. Our change of direction ability and our agility as well, where we change direction in response to an external stimulus, particularly important in rugby when you have to react to things that are happening in the game. All these need to be covered and nailed. The reason being, number one, performing speed training, sprinting at maximum intensity is demanding on the body. It is very high intensity. You're going to use a lot of energy to do it. Number two, really important for your injury resistance. A lot of players can get soft tissue injuries from the high intensity nature of sprinting. If you train and you expose yourself to those forces at high velocities, you're less likely to get injured, you're less likely to sit on the sidelines for longer periods of time, you're more likely to train, play, do more work, use more energy, and get leaner from it. It also helps us by utilizing our body mass better. If you work at those high intensities, if you're performing speed drills, things with partners, whatever it is that is going to help you get faster, you can utilize your body mass so you're going to be way more devastating on the pitch. And that is what this is all about in general, your performance on the pitch. Do not forget about speed training. You must train maximal effort speed at least once a week all year around. If you can, try and up that frequency 2 or 3 times a week. Even if it is only 1 or 2 sprints, you need to expose your body to that stimulus. So all of that is very well and good. Add strength, add conditioning, do speed training, easy. But this is absolutely vital. You must periodize your training program. Long gone are the days where you can turn up, do the same thing over and over again and feel any sort of benefits. It isn't going to happen like that. The body needs to be exposed to different stimulus, and it does that through periodization. For this, we're talking about progressive overload. Step by step, adding intensity, potentially adding volume as well, changing the intensity of our sessions, changing our training load so that we are constantly experiencing harder training each time we go into it. We then also need deload weeks. This is absolutely massive so that we can recover and adapt. We can't just keep adding weight, adding distance, working harder and harder and harder. We will fall off a cliff from fatigue, injury, illness, and all of the above. Having deload weeks where we can recover and adapt is vital. And finally, variations of your sessions and what content is inside of them. We want to be varying our strength lifts. We want to be varying the drills that we're using for our conditioning, for our speed. All of these things, again, we do the same thing over and over again. The body gets used to it and it doesn't have as much gain if it keeps getting exposed to it. So changing things up, keeping it fresh is going to be way better for your results, but also it's going to keep you more driven to do more, come back to training, keep working out, keep doing the same things, because otherwise we just get a little bit bored, can get a little bit tedious, and we again slow things down and fall off the cliff. So think of your periodization. We've got to get all of these 3 nailed. And this is vital, okay? It's all well and good adding all of that into your training program to get leaner and get better at rugby, but all of it must involve rugby. At the end of the day, you are rugby players, so you want to improve your performance, so you need to do rugby skill training, technical, tactical work. You need to be with your team and you need to play games as well. Rugby, after all, is the most specific form of training that you can do for rugby. So make sure everything is revolved around your team trainings and your games on the weekend as well. So just to recap what we have gone through there, a lean rugby program must include strength training, conditioning training, and speed training. and those must be periodized. They must be manipulated to make sure you continually improve. It must work alongside proper rugby nutrition and adopting a lean rugby lifestyle, otherwise you may fall behind, and it must involve rugby, training and playing the game as you are rugby players after all. I hope that was really valuable to you. If you've got any questions or anything you want to add, please chuck them in the comments. As I said before, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep giving you rugby content, and make sure you join our free community and mini course. The link will be in the description below. There is loads of stuff in there that is going to help you with your rugby, take away with the resources in there, and also have more and more trainings with a community support you. So get stuck in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.